Satini. Good to see you guys. It's Wednesday, February 25th, and we're back for another Clinket Language lunch session. We're a little behind on celebrating Elizabeth Pradovich, so we're gonna start with a discussion about her today. And then, if we have time afterwards, we'll review some of our phrases from last week. Tsuye Ikwasatin. We'll talk a little bit about spelling and pronunciation, maybe a little bit of grammar. And then we will study the article Clinket Protocols by Dr. Walter Soboleff. That might happen this week or next week, but it's on our list. And I'm going to start off with opening up the floor to Shirley and everybody, but she has a couple discussion questions for you. Shirley, did you want to ask them?
Yeah, I was curious about what kind of celebrations uh, happened in your town or your location in regard to Elizabeth Pradovich.
Um, well, since no one else is saying anything. Actually, so in our Haida class, we pulled up the um the song called "The Language of Our Ancestors," which was originally in Tlingit, but you guys kindly gave the Shimalyak and the Haida permission to translate it, so we looked at all three translations and sang it.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the one that goes Halil Kuhasiukatangi? Yeah, I love that song.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's a great one. No, we sing it in Haida. We didn't try to sing it and clean it, by the way, but yeah,
Uh,
we did sing it.
nice. Well, are you
Hmm.
ready to perform it for us? No, I just.
I don't think so. But if anyone would like me to share the lyrics, I can do that.
Mm. Yeah, drop them in the chat if you got them.
Okay.
It would be fun to hear a recording of that.
I can probably get you a recording of that because we have a Haida person who's very, very good at singing and records a bunch of stuff in Haida, a bunch of songs, and I think she's performed it, so I will look for that for next week.
Yeah, 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 that will be good entertainment.
Hmm. And you guys would much rather listen to her. When I say she's recorded, like that's what she does for a living. She actually records books and stuff. Like she's got like actual professional equipment and a beautiful voice.
Oh, you even put all three languages too. Thank you.
Hmm.
Let me see if I can put these in a way that people could see. We
Yeah,
might,
I was about to say.
yeah, we might do it next week. Maybe I'll put it on a document for us. But
If you're on a Mac, well, you know what?
I am.
I can put. You are?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I usually use like Google Documents, but for some reason I started using whatever the Mac version is because I realized I could work offline. Okay, that's
Oh,
why I started using it. Because then if the internet goes down, I don't have to like not have access to stuff.
yeah, that makes sense. Oh, I got him on a Google Doc, so I will make these larger for us, and maybe we'll sing the Clinkit one next
There
week.
you go. You got it.
Yeah. The English means the language of our ancestors. It is inside of us. Our language is getting stronger. Let it exist forever. Nice.
Mhm.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you for sharing it.
Who else? What else do you guys think? Who was Elizabeth Pradovich? What happened on Elizabeth Pradovich Day? Anyone else have anything to share? Do you guys think Elizabeth Pradovich Day should be a holiday from work? I was kind of on the fence about it because it was Monday, February 16th, and I usually teach a class, and I ended up teaching the class without preparing anything. And I had like major guilt about it. I was like, wait, I didn't let them take the day off, and I didn't prepare to talk about Elizabeth Pradovich. Like, I feel like a bad native. But I do have stuff about her today, if anyone wants to hear.
I went to a local um, activity. They, uh, the Alaska Native Sisterhood decided to meet with the council, Anchorage City Council, to ask if uh, Elizabeth Pradovich Day could be made a holiday in Anchorage. And so I got all ready and I was ready with a speech and everything. I got there and it was over.
Mm.
uh, they were taking a break. And so I'm not sure what happened, but I thought for sure that uh, the senator made it a national holiday, but I never did really hear anything about it. But I do have a story when I was young. I think I might have been 5 years old. The only thing I know is it was before I started a school. And in Huna, that meant you had to be 6 years old to go. So uh, we used to play out a lot. And while we were playing out, we began to notice a lot of excitement with the adults. And everybody seemed really happy and excited. And we kept watching. And somebody would run up to a couple that's walking, talk to them, and they would walk away smiling and talking and laughing. And I said, boy, who was it? And I couldn't find out. Of course, all I had to do was go home and find out. My parents were talking about it. So I found out it was Elizabeth and Roy Perovich was coming into town. Later on, we found out as kids, we found out what day they were coming in, what time. So we got ready and went to where they're supposed to come in. But the older people were successful in keeping us away. So we didn't get to see anything. But we did know that they were going to go to the A&B Hall. So we decided, okay, we're going to get to see them one way or another. So we marched up to the A&B Hall. When we got there, it already had people in there sitting, waiting. and we picked a spot to sit close to the stage. And right away, somebody came over and said, if you guys make noise and you start playing, we're going to have to ask you to leave. We didn't say anything. We just sat there. And then after a super duper long introduction, they finally came out holding hands. I still remember her dress. It was a brown, reddish brown dress, short sleeve with a white collar. Her hair was loose and curly, and they were holding hands as they came on, and she looked almost shy. And it was such a great treat to see them. And so Roy started the muting, and as they went, she would uh, every now and then get up and answer questions or make a comment. We just stayed there, kept real quiet and kept still. And finally, Roy said, let's take a break. So with his long legs, he just stepped down from the stage and went into the crowds to talk. She came down the stairs off the stage and came over towards us, and we all stood up, and she stopped to talk to us, smiling, and she complimented on uh, us to that we were nice and quiet, cause any trouble. And so one of the girls said, I got an owie. And so she took the finger and looked at it and oohed and awed about it. I quickly checked my hand. I didn't have any cuts. So uh, she said, it will get better. So then she walked away. And we were so happy that we made contact with them. But we didn't realize how big of an event that was. We decided to leave right then, uh, and we left. So we never got to talk to them or to Roy Pratovich, but we were happy. It was such it was a bigger event than we realized, uh, to be able to make contact with her because of all the things they did later as they began to break down the whole system that was blocking us. They moved to Juneau. From what I understand, in the evening after the stores closed, uh, Elizabeth and a few other women would go out and play with no Indians and no natives allowed signs, and they would mix it up, take it from the restaurant and put it in front of the liquor store and uh, things like that. So uh, it was um, a, a game that, sense of humor of the women, and they were pretty successful, never got caught doing that. So um, it was I think that same year they wrote uh, what they needed to write to the senators to allow the no Indians, no dogs allowed signs to be taken down. Uh, and when they succeeded, it was uh, it was very exciting because um, as soon as it was signed, uh, Elizabeth and Roy said, let's go dancing at Baranow." It was a big fancy hotel at that time. And, so they went dancing all evening, where they used to have a guard at the door to keep natives from going in.
Hmm.
It was pretty bad. They during the time when there was no natives allowed, they did allow us to go to the movies, but we had to sit in a very special place. And in Juneau, it turned out to be an old balcony, uh, and there was a rail in front of the balcony so that you didn't fall off and onto the downstairs. Uh, they had two folding chairs up against that rail, so the women got to sit there so they could watch the movie. And we used to bring our toys and stuff to play. We'd play next to them on the floor. And the men would sit in a corner telling stories. And if something exciting happens in a movie, we'd all stand up and watch, see what happens. When it's over, then we'd all go back to what we were doing. So, yeah, and it was just my parents really protected me from um, we never went to the tried to go to a restaurant or shops they don't want us in. Um, we were very specific. We would go to Juneau every year before school. And the reason we went is there was a shop, uh, a store that sold things by the case called the Case Lot Store. And everything you got, you had to buy by the case. So there was a bag of flour, bag of rice, a bag of sugar, a case of coffee, um, canned milk. Um, that was about all, I guess, that we would get to have for the year. So we were set for the year with those things. So, and in our house with central heating, uh, it was cold. So those foods, the food can keep pretty good uh, because in order to be warm, you had to be next to the stove, so close to the stove. And, even up to now, because I lived in a and slept in a cold house, uh, I I still I still prefer it nice and cold.
Mm.
Keep warm with the blanket.
Yeah.
But that was the only time I actually saw in person Elizabeth and Roy. But I heard a lot about them as I grew up, the things that they were accomplishing and working on. So uh, it was it wasn't anything that they taught at school. No mention whatsoever about the kind of work that they did. And so it's just important in your community. You should encourage people to. You don't have to. I, I I think sometimes people think they have to show the movie that was made about her. Uh, you could still have a celebration. Elizabeth and Roy Partridge celebration and have a potluck and have pictures or whatever about them and the work they did. You don't have to go into very detailed kind of history, just to honor and keep that date. So in your community, you should try to encourage the people, especially the ANS, to observe. So just be sure that the young people know about the work that they did because that was really important. If if Roy and Elizabeth didn't accomplish all that, they would still be mistreating us and getting away with it. So I'm really grateful to the both of them for the work they did and the determination they uh, they had to meet with the legislature that only met every other year, and they had to go to Fairbanks to do it. And the people that the legislators that were against it were very, very verbal. And they weren't embarrassed about what they said. So if if you want to show one of the films that was made about her, uh, there was one that was written by somebody in Huna, and the students performed the play, and it showed how they prepared for it. It was good. It was really good. I liked it. There are some others that were professionally done. Um, I, the vision I have of Elizabeth Pratovich is she was really cheerful, smiling and talking. So it's not quite the image you get from some of the professionally done uh, stories, but the story is good and it's really important for us and our people to know it, even though it's so many years um, that that it happened. That I think we should be really quick to point it out. It happened in the 40s, way before Martin Luther King. I always tell the people that were concerned about the Black people that
Okay.
it's this that we were um, that we were first, but they were national. So and I hope that uh, it's going to be observed nationally for the work that she did. So if there's any comments, if you heard any other stories or comments or questions you might have about her, and talk about it now.
We have a couple comments in the chat. One is from Kutz and she said, they were my grandfather's aunt and uncle. He is a Scan from Kloak. The Scans and the Pradovich children are half siblings.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, there's actually there's some Pradovich I don't know if they're grandchildren or some uh, anyway, they have the name Pradovich and they attend these things that are about Roy and Elizabeth, the grandchildren, or grandchildren. So uh, it's always nice to know that and hear that there are people that can make the claim, and it's so neat. Is there another comment?
Any other comments or questions? I just want to add, thank you for bringing this up again. I think I tend to feel like inundated sometimes with my work week or my work schedule or deadlines or bills. And for me this year, Elizabeth Pradovich Day kind of came and went, and I was like, oh, I didn't do anything. Oh, well, next year. But it's like you said, it doesn't have to be huge. You could just put pictures and have a potluck, like just celebrate the change that she and Roy made for us in Alaska. And just Gunachish for bringing it up and reminding me.
Yeah, I think the local people can't get a hold of the films and whatever. Should we just encourage to have some kind of a gathering, a get together?
Yeah, a little bit about Elizabeth Pradovich. These are some slides from a class I taught at UAA a couple years ago, but a little bit about her. Her Tlingit name was Kach Gaslat, and she was Lukach Adi, born July 4th in 1911. And some of the bullet points I think we had put together was that she was turned down for housing. And maybe that was part of like what got her on this path of like making things better for Alaska. Some of the things that stood out in her life were she became the president of the Alaska Native Sisterhood in 1940, and that she was essential in passing the anti-discrimination law of 1945 in Alaska.
It's hardly ever mentioned that Senator Diamond played a big part in this. He made a collection of all the different anti-discrimination laws from different states throughout the U.S. And he brought it to Roy and Elizabeth as they were writing the law. So he had a part in it, and he was very interested in helping.
Senator Diamond.
Diamond, yeah.
Nice. This is one of her famous quotes. I put it on the screen. She gave during her testimony advocating for the anti discrimination law to be passed in legislature. She said, I would not have expected that I, who am barely out of savagery, would have to remind gentlemen with 5,000 years of recorded civilization behind them of our Bill of Rights. So taking a moment where maybe something disrespectful was said about our people, and she kind of turned it right back around.
Yeah, yeah. There was a guy that said uh, he was bragging that he had 5,000 years of civilization behind him, and he didn't see why he had to deal with it. So,
Yeah, that's a lot. Keeping your cool in a moment like that takes a lot of, I don't know, fortitude or discipline.
Sukahadi clan in a hurry clan.
Is that what it means? Huh. Shukachadi. In a hurry clan? That's awesome.
I always thought that was pretty neat.
Yeah. I know a lot of people are from that clan that are I kind of look up to. I know the Marks family are all from that clan. Nora Marks Downhauer and all her siblings.
Yeah, Paul Marx, his sons. No, his sons were Eagle.
Hmm. But yeah, Paul Marks, Florence Shakely, their sister. This is the movie. I don't have a copy of it. I just have a screenshot. But the one that Shirley mentioned was professionally done. It's called For the Rights of All. And we used to have a copy of the play that you mentioned in Huna. We didn't have a copy, but one of the news sources agreed to put it up on their website for everybody to watch. And that was nice. It might have been
That was
KTLA.
wasn't that the radio, TV channel that no longer exists?
Oh, 360 North? Oh.
The one- They're the ones that had it. So I don't know who else. I know the writer in Juneau, but I haven't had any contact with her.
Yeah, that was a really well done play. I was really impressed with the students' performance. Um, Any more questions or comments about Elizabeth? Any thoughts you want to add?
It was pretty hard on the students to say all those mean things in acting. They had to have a big discussion. They realized it was only acting. They had to put it across the way it was, the way they said it.
Mm.
Um,
And were those students, were they high school students?
yeah, yeah, Huna.
What do you think about at what age should we teach our students about civil rights in Alaska? And Like, do we teach different parts of it depending on their age?
Uh, I'm trying to think in high school. I didn't have civil rights until um, a senior high school, but it depends on what the requirements are. And the interesting thing about Alaska is uh, there's a U.S. government requirement and Alaska requirement. So if it's something about Alaska, there's a special thing to use for that because it gives you the background and the method for distributing and taking apart what you're going to use to um, so you can ask the right questions. Of course, I haven't done it for so many years. I don't know if it even still exists.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it just got me thinking when you mentioned that this part of Alaskan history is not taught in public schools. I was wondering if we're teaching at home, like, do we start teaching them young? And if we do we only teach them part of it? Or I just have thoughts about it.
Yeah, they don't even teach uh, the high school U.S. history, what's called U.S. history, doesn't really teach U.S. history. It should have been called U.S. government. And I I ran up into some students. The teacher gave them, okay, read read the next three chapters and answer all the questions. That was the teaching method. So of course they were not interested. So I ended up with a bunch of kids that was having struggling with that kind of teaching. And the sad thing about the whole thing was I was going to do the same thing.
Hmm.
I asked them, talked to them about what kind of trouble they were having. That's when I had to run out and really do something different. I made it into a research class. And boy, did they ever like that.
Hmm. Nice. Corey says, my daughter is in kindergarten and she has been singing an Elizabeth Pratovich song from school for weeks. I don't know the song, it's in English.
Oh boy. I'd like to hear that because uh, I think Mary Shoots used to sing it with the little kids, but I never did learn it. So uh,
I think it's the one they refer to as the Elizabeth Radovich rap. That's a different one. That one I've heard before too. I know there's a video online of her doing it with some kids. This one's different. I'm not sure. I'll have to ask my daughter, but she's been singing it a lot. So
uh,
Nice.
it's
probably because I think the one that Mary Shoots sang was one that she made up. So uh, we should have a recording of each one so that it could be taught to uh, school children. I think that's really a good idea. It's amazing, you know, how much they could learn by singing about it. That's why they do it in Sunday school.
Mm-hmm. I have a video of the rap. I've played it before for our other class. Shirley, do you want me to play it now? The one that Mary Cruz Folletti did with the kids, the Elizabeth Pradovich rap.
Oh, that rap. Yeah, that was fun.
Uh,
Enjoyed that one.
I'll pull it up.
That's what for high school or
She performed it with kids that they're probably age like 3 to 5, or or no, maybe 4 to 8 or something. I have it up. I'm gonna put it on the screen. Okay, here we go.
Hey, Johan. Gaat jy dag Jenny? Gonna cheese hat jy adil te kat Johan. Ach tu ik dat. Ach tu asigu yisiku Elizabeth Paradovich dot. I really want you guys to know a little bit about Elizabeth Paradovich. Lingit Kach Gatlat you du sagen, Sluka Chadich Setien. Her Tlingit name was Kach Gatlat. She was Sluka Chadi. She used to live here in Juneau, and her family comes from Deshuk, the Haines area, their clan house. Elizabeth was a really amazing woman. In the 1940s, her and several other Alaska Native people were fighting for our civil rights. Long before the civil rights movement in the lower 48, long before Martin Luther King, we were fighting for our civil rights here. Did you know my grandparents didn't have a right to vote? Did you know there were signs on buildings saying no natives allowed? Elizabeth Paradovich was one of the key figures who helped make it so that discrimination was no longer legal in Alaska, and we're so grateful to her and her work and the work of her peers. I created this fun song to help teach students more about Elizabeth and about the work that she did to help us move forward as Alaska Native people. Yeah, gunalchish. There was a Tlingit woman named Elizabeth. She married a man named Roy Paradovich. When they moved to Juneau, they tried to buy a home, but the people who were living there just said no. We don't want no natives living in our homes. Go live somewhere else. Leave us alone. The government said you have no rights, no voting, no working. That's only for the whites. But there were many people who stood up to fight. They had to work hard to gain their rights. Elizabeth fought hard for this cause. Her speech helped change the government's laws. In 1945, a bill was passed. No discrimination at last. So put your hands together and say Gunachish to all those who fought to end our grief. Gunachish! Gunachish! Achtuasigu Gunachishech Sakai Kachkatlad Ka Alaska Native Sisterhood, Alaska Native Brotherhood, and all those who fought. I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for putting up the good fight so that we might be able to do the things that we're able to do today. Gunachish.
that was so clever.
Yeah.
I just really admire people that are creative and can do things like that. That's so good. Yeah, we should have a collection of I don't know if what's his name? Twitchell. Lance Twitchell has on his site a collection of Elizabeth Paradovich stuff.
Let me check. I'll probably have to snoop around. I'll have to look around. I'm not familiar of it, but
Uh, uh, maybe we'll work on putting it together sometime and get it ready for the next uh, Elizabeth Private Day and try to get people uh, to recognize. It used to be that the reporters that were on TV used to inquire who's doing something for Elizabeth Private, and they quit asking. So that's not good, even though it was such a long time ago. So that's still important work. So,
nice. All right. Well, we have a few minutes left. But I do want you guys to practice this phrase. But are there any other comments or questions about Elizabeth Pradovich? Awesome. Well, yeah, thank you, Shirley, for having that discussion with us. It's helpful. So we taught you guys this phrase for "I will see you again." This is something you can say when you're parting ways. The first two words mean again. So repeat after me. Tsuye.
Suye.
Suye.
Job.
Suye.
Good. And then the next one means I will see you. So this I in the beginning that I put in red font means you. And you kind of say it like you, I will see. So that's the word order in Tlingit. But let's do just the first two letters, the IK. Repeat after me. Ik.
Break calipers upside down.
And then starting with the underline K right after that, say kwasatin.
Quasatine.
Quasatine.
Good. Now put them together. Ik kwasatin.
Quasatine.
Good. And one more time. Ik kwasatin.
Quasatine.
Yeah. So the first two words, tsuye.
Suye.
Yeah.
And the next half, ik kwasatin.
Quasatine.
Nice. And the whole thing, repeat after me. Tsuye ik kwasatin.
Suye Quasatine.
Nice.
Team.
Yeah. It means I will see you again.
so if anybody asks you, how do you say hello and goodbye? We don't. So yeah, Constantine is, I will see you again.
Yeah. Let's see. We have a couple more minutes. The other phrases that we learned last week are have strength and courage. This is words of encouragement for somebody. And I put an image on the slide of one person standing up on stage. He's probably getting ready to give a speech. And he has little clouds and lightning bolts around him, looking like maybe he's kind of nervous. So this would be an example where you're encouraging somebody if it's just one person. So this first letter I in red means you. So we're talking to one person. And repeat after me these first two words. Igua. Good. And the next two words. Yakhwan.
Juan.
Good. Again. Igua.
Igua.
Get the doll.
Yakhwan.
Get that car.
Juan.
Good. So the whole line. Igua yakhwan.
Juan.
Good. And a little fast.
Good.
Good job, you guys. A little faster. Igua yakhwan.
Juan.
Nice. So
Now
that's for
you
talk.
run into two X's next to each other, so you have to kind of space it by taking a quick breath. Juan.
Okay. So yeah, let's take a little breath between the X's and repeat after me. Juan.
Iguayak Kwan.
Nice.
There's a W. Juan.
Juan. Yeah, so for this W, you'll be pinching your X, but you can round your lips when you're doing that. So it'll still make the W and repeat after me. Juan.
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 Uh-huh. And then the last two words again. Yuck. Juan.
Yach.
Yeah.
Juan.
Juan.
Good job. In the next slide, we're talking to multiple people. And so this I for one person changes to ye. And I put a picture of 3 people on a canoe paddling through what looks like some whitewater rapids, just to show that they're trying at something so that when you see multiple people, you think I need to change it to ye. But let's practice this one. Yi ko ayach Juan.
Iguac.
Let's do just the first 2 words. Yi ko a.
Yigua.
And the last half. Yach Juan.
Yuck.
Yak Kwan.
Good. So we'll end there for today, but next week when we come back, we'll review these phrases, and then I'm going to have a little fill in the blank for us to do together. So just remembering what sounds we're making and how to spell it. Cultural note Shirley reminded of us last week is it's important to know how to encourage other people, and you should have the words at the tip of your tongue. So be ready to say that when people need encouragement, and do a little more practice with them. But
People
Yeah.
always need that. And it does help to say it. Encouraging.
yeah, that's a good reminder. I could probably do a little better about it. Encouraging other people.
We want to start looking at the article by Dr. Sobala, Protocol. So the definition of protocol is not at the tip of my tongue. So I am kind of thinking it's the same with you, that why don't we go ahead on our own to look up the word and be ready to have a discussion about why he called it the protocol.
Okay. That's what we'll do. And that's what we'll do next week. So have a good week, you guys. And we'll see you next week, same time. Gunaftish.
Kosatin.
Suye kwasatin.
Suye Kwasatin Gunashlish.
Uh,
Hawatish.
okay.